Hello everyone, I am Professor Shaista Khan. I'll be explaining you about BJT biasing. BJT is bipolar junction transistor, which is most widely used component in electronic circuit. BJT can be used for many applications. The main use of BJT means one of the important use of BJT is BJT as an amplifier. Now, in order to use BJT transistor as an amplifier as a switch, it should operate in a particular region of operation. So that is active region, cutoff region, or saturation region. So amplifier, in order to work as an amplifier, it should bias in active region. So how this can work in different region, that is nothing but what is called as biasing. So biasing, we give the DC supply and we operate the transistor. With the help of that, we operate the transistor in particular region. So that is called as, that is nothing but a meaning of biasing. So when you bias the transistor, that is nothing but a VC and IC value we need to set, that is called as Q point. So when you set the VC and IC value, that is quiescent point. So Q point can be set in saturation region, active region, or cutoff region depending upon an application where you want to use transistor. So our main application is amplifier, so we set the Q point in active region. Now once the Q point is set, Q point should remain stable. So here as I'm telling ki if Q point should remain stable, this indicates that Q point can vary also. So how Q point can vary? Q point is VC and IC value. So Q point can vary depending upon device parameter variation and temperature variation. Device parameter variation means, suppose if you are using a transistor in an application, and if suppose transistor leg has broken or transistor has blown off, then you need to replace transistor. So when you're replacing transistor, then where the transistor which you are using of same number, but the beta value may vary, because some parameters are varying from device to device. So that is called as device parameter variation. So if suppose beta is varying, then your beta is varying, then IC is beta times IB, so IC value can vary and hence VC value can also vary. So that is Q point can vary. Another is nothing but temperature variation. Temperature variation is, as you know, that the component can be, or the device can use in any temperature, any state, right? So like if it is used in a where the temperature is very low, where the temperature is very high, then we need to consider the temperature. And as these are semiconductor devices, right, so semiconductor devices are affected by the temperature. We know that VB, that is base emitter voltage, is varying. It is reducing 2.5 millivolt per centigrade increase in temperature. ICBO is a reverse saturation current which doubles for every 10 centigrade increase in temperature. Beta is also depending upon temperature. So these are the three parameters which are depending upon temperature. So if temperature will vary, these parameters can vary, and hence your IC and VCE value vary, that is Q point. So Q point can shift, and it may be possible it can shift to the saturation, it can shift to the cutoff, or it can shift in active region only. But that variation is not allowed, because that can reduce your maximum output voltage. So we need Q point to be stable. So another function of the biasing circuit is to stabilize the Q point. See, we cannot control the temperature. Temperature is definitely going to vary, but what we can control, yes, due to that, if any variation is there, that we can control. So that is a function of biasing circuit. Now, so there are different types of biasing circuit for BJT. The one which we are studying is fixed bias. Fixed bias is, you can see here I am using a simple RB resistor, and this is RC resistor, this is transistor. In order to set the Q point, we need to apply KVL to the input loop. So you can see here I am applying a KVL to the input loop. So it is VCC minus IBRB minus VBE equal to 0. So if you rearrange, you will get IB equal to VCC minus VB upon RB. Then IC equal to beta times IB. And then you can apply KVL to output loop. If you apply KVL to output loop, that is VCC minus ICRC minus VCE equal to 0. So you will get VCE equal to VCC minus ICRC. So with the help of this, you can find out IB, IC and VCE. So once Q point is calculated, we calculate stability factor also, and stability factor for fixed bias is S is equal to 1 plus beta. Now what is stability factor? See, we have seen over here that we need Q point. Biasing circuit is used to stabilize the Q point. So there should be some parameter which is judging that how much Q point is stabilized. So that parameter is nothing but stability factor, which indicate that whether your biasing circuit is properly stabilizing or not. So stability factor should be as low as possible, and we calculate stability factor, which for fixed bias it comes out to be 1 plus beta, which is a very high value, and due to which you can see as that is a big disadvantage of fixed bias. Stability factor is very high, hence it is providing a poor stabilization. This indicate means if your viewpoint is varying, the circuit is not able to do much in that. But the advantage circuit is simple, it can be easily set, and the calculation can be done easily. Next is voltage divider bias, which is the most widely used biasing network. In voltage divider, we have R1, R2, RC and RE. R1, R2, these resistors are Theveninized, and here we calculate RTH and VTH. RTH is R1 parallel R2. VTH is a voltage we calculate across R2. That is nothing but we are calculating with the help of voltage division rule. So we need to find out voltage across R2. So that is R2 into VCC upon R1 plus R2. Once VTH is calculated, then you can apply the KVL to the input loop, and you can find out VTH minus IBRTH minus VBE minus IERE. Then I you can substitute as 1 plus beta, and you can get this IB equation. You can refer the notes which are attached in a link, so you can get the better idea. I'm just giving a shortcut idea over here ki how we are calculating. Then we can apply the KVL to the output loop. VCC minus ICRC minus VCE minus IERE, you will get VC. So in this way we calculate Q point. Then stability factor. Stability factor comes out to be 1 plus beta upon 1 plus beta upon denominator, right? See here the stability factor is 1 plus beta upon, right? So that is nothing but what? Here our stability factor is less. So that is what a main benefit of voltage divider bias. So stability factor is less. This indicates that we are getting a good stabilization. And how this circuit is providing a stabilization? Stabilization is possible due to this RE resistor, which is connected which is nothing but a resistor providing a negative feedback. And due to negative feedback, our stability increases. And if you refer the notes, you can go in depth. It is explained more properly in a note. And here it is beta free biasing. That is nothing but what? Your IC is almost independent of beta. So we know that beta is a more it is nothing but a parameter which changes if the device changes, right? If temperature changes. So if we are making our current independent of beta, then it is very good that our circuit is not going to be affected by these variations, because IC is beta times IB. So if we are removing beta from there, we are making IC independent of beta, hence it is called as beta free biasing. Disadvantage is nothing but here we are using more number of resistors, but as we are getting a benefit of good stability, so we can tolerate this more number of resistors. Due to RE, voltage gain reduces due to as negative feedback is used. So it reduces voltage gain, but this problem can be avoided by using a CE capacitor across this RE. So this is nothing but how in small introduction about fixed bias and voltage divider bias. Now how to do the experiment? In this experiment, I have used these circuit values, and I forgot to write beta over here. Beta I have considered, I measured is 361 for a transistor which I used in a practical. Next, in a next part, you will understand that how this experiment can be done practically, and you can measure the VBE, VCE, IB, IC value practically. And what you can do with the help of these values, with the help of these values and these formulas, you can calculate the value of IC IB, VCE for fixed bias and voltage divider bias, and you can verify the readings which I have taken in a next part, and you can find out the difference, that how much. So and you can conclude. So the values, theoretical and practical values may vary depending, because there are tolerances, right? There are tolerances of the resistor, transistor parameter, many parameters are there, so that you can conclude. So thank you so much for your queries. You can write in a comment box, and thank you so much.
Engineering, I'll be explaining you how to perform BJT biasing experiment. So first, this is nothing but fixed bias. Circuit is mounted. You can see this is nothing but a transistor. This is emitter, this is base, and this is collector. This is RC resistor, which is of 1 kilo ohm. This is RB resistor, which has to be connected to the supply voltage plus VCC. So this is RC of 330K. This is emitter is connected to ground, and this is VCC. So this VCC is nothing but what? Here we are connecting 9 volt supply. So 9 volt supply is connecting, you can see 9 volt battery I'm connecting, so plus so I'm applying this supply voltage to this circuit. Now in order to measure, in order to perform biasing, means we need to find out Q point. Q point is nothing but what? VCE and IC. So we know that in order to find out IC, it is beta times IB. So we should know what is IB. So that means in short, we need to find out, we need to measure IB, IC and VCE. For that, first of all, any transistor to work, it needs 0.7 volt to conduct, that is VBE. First of all, transistor should be on, then only anything can happen. So our first aim while performing this experiment is nothing but what? To check whether the transistor is on or not. And before that, see, it is by default step is nothing but what? Ki supply voltage is coming in a breadboard or not. So first of all, I'll measure the supply voltage. So here you can see in a circuit, I'm connecting, this is plus of VCC, and this is nothing but what? Minus. So you can see here it is showing 9 volt, right? So that means this indicates that ki 9 volt battery is coming to your circuit, because this is very important to check, because here in a supply it is showing 9 volt, but may be possible the probes may be broken inside, so you need to check whether the supply is coming to the circuit or not. After checking the supply, your next step is to check VBE. See this plus I'm connecting to the base of the transistor, and this is nothing but what? I'm connecting it to emitter. Now you can see in a multimeter it is showing 0.68. 0.68, that means VBE is proper. So if VBE is 0.68, that means transistor is conducting. Now next we'll measure VCE. So here emitter I'm keeping as it is, and now plus I'm connecting it to plus of the collector of this transistor. So now you can see here it is showing 0.56 volt. So this is VCE. Now so in this way we measured VBE and VCE. Now next we need to measure IB current. You know that ki IB current is flowing in a base. So here I need to connect a current meter over here. Here you can see I have removed this base resistor connection from this base of the emitter, because we need to connect a current meter in between, that is nothing but what? In series. In order to measure current meter should be connected in series. So what I'll do, I'll measure a current meter in between this. So this will come in series. But for that first of all, in a multimeter you can see here this voltage and resistance measurement, you have to connect this knob over here, and for current measurement you need to connect a knob in this, right? So milliamp. Now and next you need to change this knob, you have to keep this knob on DC ampere, right? So first of all I'm keeping it on 200 microamp range, because I'm measuring IB, and you know that ki IB is in microampere. So you can see, so here it is showing 25.2 microampere, right? So this is nothing but what? Our IB current. Now next, after measuring this IB, now I need to reconnect this base resistor to RB, right? Base of the transistor. Now I'll measure collector current. Definitely in order to measure the collector current, we need to connect a current meter in series. So what will happen here, what I'll do, I'll remove this RC resistor and I'll connect our current meter in series. So now I'm connecting current meter, you can see, in series. Now you can see in a multimeter it is showing 1, right? This is nothing but what, when it is showing when the range is increased, right? So here you need to change the range. So we'll keep it on, you can see here we kept it on 20 milliamp range, so it is showing 8.7 milliampere, right? So this is nothing but what, your IC current. You can see here I have connected one terminal on collector resistance and another terminal of the current meter is nothing but what, a collector of the transistor. If I reverse the current meter, you can see the change. What it is showing? It is showing minus, right? If it is showing minus, this always indicate that our current meter is connected reverse. So in this way we can perform a fixed bias measurement of Q point using this circuit and multimeter. Next, after doing this, next step is nothing but what? See, already you have done the DC calculations, right? Theoretical calculations. So you need to compare the theoretical calculation with the practical readings we have taken, right? And there may be a difference between the theoretical and the practical values. That is nothing but what? Due to the tolerance of the transistor, due to the variation in a beta, right? So these are the factors. So thank you so much. So this is voltage divider bias. For voltage divider bias, again we need to repeat the same steps. We'll check the first of all you should check the transistor beta, which you can do it with the help of multimeter by keeping it in a HFE that we have already seen for fixed bias. You will check all the resistors values and then you will connect it. Then third, you will check the power supply, whether you are giving 9 volts. So is it 9 volt is coming from the power supply? And one thing I forgot in the last video, that after connecting the supply, you should also check whether the supply is coming in a circuit or not. For this, you can see I have connected a multimeter, I kept it on a voltage range, and now I am measuring the voltage in my circuit. So how to check it? That we'll see. So here you can see I have connected. So here you can see it is showing 8.98 or 9, right? So it is almost same. So this indicates that yes, voltage is coming on your breadboard, because maybe possible if this wire is broken inside, right? So maybe possible that there is no connectivity and your supply is not coming to your circuit. And if you directly measure the voltage, then you will say we are not getting the output. But the best way is, first of all, you should check the supply. After this, next we need to check VBE and VCE. So for VBE, I am connecting it between, I kept it on 2 volt range and now I am measuring. So it is showing 0.627, right? So that is correct, VBE. And after VBE, we'll check VCE. So we are getting VCE as 5.11 volt, right? So VCE is 5.1 volt and your VCC is 9 volt. So your VCE is almost half of VCC, and this indicates that your transistor will be in active region. After measuring VCE and VB, see, you don't directly measure VCE, because once you verified that yes, VB is around 0.6, 0.7, then only you can get the VCE. If you measure directly VCE, then there is maybe possible your transistor is not working, VB is not proper, so how your transistor you can get VCE. Now after this, we need to check the current, that is IB and then IC. For current measurement, we'll change the socket. So here I'll connect it to milliamp, and current should be on DC amp. Now I'm keeping it on 200 microamp range. This is nothing but IB is in microampere. Now we'll measure IB. So here you can see I've removed the connection between this and base connection. So Now I can measure. See, here I am connecting my 1 point, and over here, so here you can see for measurement of IB, I have connected, see, current meter. For current meter it should be in series, so that's why I have removed a connection. So now I am connecting a current meter between, see, this is 1 point is going to base, and 1 point is nothing but what, at the intersection of R1 and R2. So this is nothing but what, where IB current will flow. So here you can see it is 4.5 microampere. So this 4.5, 4.6 microampere. So this is nothing but your IB value. Once you have measured it, right, after that you need to do a connection between, again between base, and now next we want to measure IC current. In order to measure IC current, now again I'll keep it on milliampere range, and now IC is flowing between RC and collector. So here again, in order to connect it in series, RC ka another point I have connected at this point, and now I'll connect a current meter, 1 point over here and 1 point over here. So here you can see it is showing 1.66 milliampere. So in this way this is IC, and see there is a difference. Here I am connecting plus at this point, minus at this point. Suppose if I'll reverse it, what is the change? You can see the change, minus. This is nothing but what, I am connecting a current meter in a reverse direction. That's why it's showing a minus current, right? So how you are connecting the current meter, that is also very important. So it should be plus over here and minus over here. So your current is flowing from RC to this current meter, and then black wire, and then coming into the collector terminal. So this is nothing but how we can measure VBE, VCE, IB and IC practical. So you need to verify this practical value with the theoretical value, and you need to find out ki there is always some difference between the theoretical value and the practical value, because you have seen 1K resistor, if you measure practically, it is not coming exactly 1K, it is 976 ohms, right? So due to this beta value, when you are taking it for theory calculation, you consider some fixed value, but when you consider it over here, it fluctuates. Maybe suppose if I will change this transistor, then what will happen? It is possible that when I will take another transistor, the beta value is going to vary. So in this way, that is nothing but what? All these factors are very important while doing the practical. Thank you so much.